Hey, and welcome back everyone. I hope you guys had a great day so far. Today I'm going to be reviewing Urban Decay's Naked Skin Weightless Auto Definition Liquid Makeup. I'm in the light shade available, which is 0.5. There are 18 shades in total. It retails for $40 online as well as in stores, as far as my research goes, and you get 1 ounce of product or 30 milliliters. Urban Decay's Naked Skin makeup is set to use light diffusing spheres to blur imperfections for a luminous demi-matte finish. This makeup is oil-free, paraben-free, fragrance-free, and contains nourishing ingredients. Now, I've been using this foundation for over a year. My best friend Annie gifted it to me after both of us being so impressed at the Urban Decay counter, already knowing that this was going to be something right up our streets. We both prefer the very liquidy kinds of foundations that don't look too apparent and detectable on skin, so this was a product that we already had a feeling for it was going to look great on our skins as well. I still love to use it on days where I have rather good skin and don't have to cover up as much, although I would register this foundation as a sheer to almost buildable full coverage. You can very nicely build it up, and this is what I very appreciate about this product, because that way I know I can get various degrees of coverage, and therefore this makes this product versatile for me, which is what I'm always looking for. As per usual, I like to start out my reviews by looking at the ingredient list first, just because it is my personal #1 criteria when it comes to reviewing any type of liquidy product, whether it be foundations, concealers, or even skincare just in general. I personally like to be the informed customer, knowing what I'm constantly putting on my skin. So by looking at the ingredient list overall, I'm happy to report that there are no harmful ingredients in this product whatsoever. Therefore makes me want to use this product even more so in the first place. But there are also some nourishing ingredients here as well. So I'm going to get started by pointing out lychee derm, which is an ingredient that is derived from the lychee fruit. This is supposed to protect skin from dehydration, oxidative stress, accelerated aging, and just resulting in an overall brighter, more radiant complexion. There's also some vitamin E thrown in here. This is, by the way, one of my favorite ingredients. I like to incorporate it into my skincare a lot. This is used to hydrate and increase the skin's elasticity while fighting off free radicals that cause skin to age prematurely. There's also some Japanese green tea. Yes, I love me some green tea. Not only to put it inside my body, but as well as applying it on top of my skin. This one soothes and calms skin with antioxidants to neutralize free radicals again and promote collagen production for a smooth and supple skin. Last but not least, there's some Matrixyl 3000 in here, which again is one of my favorite ingredients. This one is an anti-wrinkle and lifting peptide to restore and maintain the skin's youthful appearance while increasing elasticity. So, from an ingredient aficionado standpoint, this foundation is formulated rather nicely. So it does have a few skincare benefiting ingredients in it, which is always a plus when it comes to base products. However, you do have to keep in mind that all of these great ingredients are very light and air sensitive, and therefore they're not going to be stable for too long. Due to the nature of the design of the bottle, which is a clear plastic bottle, they're not going to stay very stable for too long. And I guess most of us would not keep the cardboard packaging that the foundation is housed in. Therefore, you're not really benefiting that much of the great ingredients that this foundation has. Onto the application part. I'm going to show you guys in this video 2 different methods to apply the foundation on my skin. I'm personally someone that prefers to use my fingers because I'm a rather tactile person, and I like to experience a product with my fingers, just really get a feel for the product. And out of my personal experience, I find that using either my fingers or a beauty blender works best for my skin. At the moment, I have a rather mild case of acne. I'm trying to heal the old acne scars. Before I'm going to get started, I always like to apply a very generous amount of SPF. For this case, I used the Bioderma Photoderm Max SPF 50. the cream version because I cannot stand the fluid version. For the life of me, it felt like applying butter on top of my skin. I cannot do that. Even the blotting method did not help. So I applied a very generous amount, approximately 1/4 of a teaspoon on my face only, let it absorb, and then just blotted off the excess ever so slightly. So as for the consistency of this makeup, it is a very lightweight one. It's really runny, which is what I very much appreciate because I find these types of textures usually give me the effect that I'm looking for, which is to be as undetectable and skin-like as possible. And then I used a Ben Nye PBS-3 brush. It's actually one of my personal favorites. I love how it applies cream products in like thicker consistencies, but with this foundation I felt that it would just lay the foundation on top of my skin rather than melt and mesh it into my skin, which is what I always prefer. So it felt like I was applying a mask. It felt very apparent. I did not like it at all. It made my pores look disastrously huge. I'm not a fan of this application method, and therefore I very quickly proceeded to use the Beauty Blender, which is still and probably always will be my favorite application method when it comes to applying liquidy foundations, as well as the creamy kinds, the moussey ones, it doesn't matter. The Beauty Blender is a phenomenon. So as you can see here, I feel even though, let's say it's the better half of my face that doesn't have as many blemishes, it still looks much more fine in texture. It doesn't look like I wear a heavy layer of something, and overall my skin just looks fresher and nicer and just more natural too. I always like to apply just another layer so that you guys see how buildable a product is. So again, I used my brush, the Ben Nye one, and still it was not getting better. It just even more so felt like applying another layer of something that just did not feel right. It did, however, cover the blemishes on my cheek and down my jaw a little bit better, although you can still see some of them peeking through, which again, I do not mind. It's just the nature of having bad skin. The Beauty Blender cannot do wrong and did a much better job in the second layer too. So as you can see the differences here, I feel my right side looks much more natural and more like my skin than the left one. The finish of this foundation is, I'd say, a demi-matte, just as Urban Decay describes. It gives a very soft and natural look, slightly matte, but not powdery. I personally find this to be rather perfect because that way I don't have to additionally powder my face down. So I only like to powder the usual places for me where I know I'm going to get shiny and where I know fading is going to occur, which is to me mostly around my nose. So I like to powder my entire nose area, my top lip, and under my eyes mostly. I found that it only clung ever so slightly to some drier parts of my face, which currently are only at this side of my face where some older acne scars are, some older wounds are still healing. However, taking care of that dryness with a very nourishing SPF or moisturizer did do the trick. The makeup lasted pretty much the entire day on me, with some of the usual places where fading tends to occur, which for me is always my top lip because I tend to do this a lot, and around my nose. Overall, I am loving the very lightweight feel this foundation left on my skin, which I do consider to be a rather unique trait to a foundation, and especially coming from someone that likes to layer a lot of SPF to get the sufficient amount needed to be really protected against the UV rays. I think it's really hard to come by a foundation that doesn't look like you're going to add another layer of greasiness, of shine. I think it does a really nice job in actually absorbing a lot of the shine that a lot of SPFs tend to leave, especially the ones that I have in my collection currently. And although I like to blot these types of SPFs, I still think that this foundation did a great job to absorb the residue, the oil that was still left on top from the SPFs, and make my face look more natural, more skin-like, which is what I'm always looking after. Also, I appreciate the fact that this foundation does not contain an additional SPF factor, which tends to lead a lot of people into the wrong direction and feeling safe and being protected against the harmful UV rays, you're not. Absolutely not. You have to use about 1/4 teaspoon to be sufficiently protected, and no one is going to use that amount of foundation only on their face. I think Urban Decay's Naked Skin Foundation is one of the most versatile products, not only in terms of the very extensive shade range, but also because a lot of different skin types are going to be able to use this product without any hesitation. Whew. Well, that was a long one. I hope you guys found this video informative and helpful. If you did, you know what to do. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to get notified in the future when I'm going to upload videos. Follow me on my social media. I'm really active on Instagram. I like to give some mini reviews on there. Everything will be linked down below. I hope you guys have a great day, and as always, until we meet again.